Hello everybody, it's TBK and I've just gotten into a new game, and if you're like me, you may have found it as well. The game is called Corekeeper and I've played probably 2.5 to 3 hours of it so far, so I am in no way an expert and I'm still learning as I go. Things I have learned so far though, I think may help other players like myself who are brand spanking new to the game. Really quick, I'm going to share my 5 quick tips for beginning out in Corekeeper. Now, these tips are not master like tricks. Like I just started playing the game. Just started. I'm 2.5 hours in. If you have 0 hours, you load up that game and you play one sitting, you're sitting there right with me. We're all gonna have the same experience and we're learning as we go. The crazy thing about Corekeeper is that it is a game kind of Minecrafty, kind of Stardew Valley-ish, where it just throws you in there and you have to discover and figure out this world from the get-go. So anyways, like I said, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into my 5 quick tips for beginners. Tip number 1 is when you're picking your background, I think you should pick miner. I personally picked Fisher because I enjoy fishing in games. Fishing in video games is one of my favorite things. However, there is a lot of mining at the beginning stage of Corekeeper, and mining is a giant aspect of the game as a whole. So when you start out with miner, you have starting perks that are +3 to your mining skill, you get a copper pickaxe, and you get +3 food rations. Adding those 3 mining skills means you're gonna get up to your perks quicker. Every 5 levels you get to apply a talent point to your things. So you're already 3 out of 5 to your first talent point. On top of that, a copper pickaxe is going to be super handy when dealing with your dirt walls and everything at the beginning, as well as any ore blocks you find along the way. My second tip is about lighting. Torches and lights are your friends. Corekeeper makes it extremely easy to craft torches. Why do they do that? Because this game is dark. And I don't mean Batman and Gotham dark. I mean just dark. There's not a lot of lighting around. You need to craft as many torches as you can and spread them around as much as you can, just to have some sort of lighting. Yes, there's fireflies that you'll run into. Yes, there's glowing stuff. Yes, there's things you can eat to glow for a little bit, but you really, really, really need to have as many torches as you can on your person. A thing you can do with torches that I find really cool is carrying the torches, so you don't actually have to lay them down. But if you want to use any of your tools, as soon as you switch to that tool, you lose the brightness of your torch, which is going to be another tip I come into later. However, the last thing I want to say about lighting being your friend is that while you're playing the game, you will find random jut-outs of walls and pieces of dirt. So when you lay down your torch, that little jut-out kind of blocks the light from the other parts of the room. Make sure you're clearing out these little jut-outs because it'll maximize your light in that room and give you a better visibility and kind of let you know what you're getting into quicker. Seriously, lighting is your best friend. You want to stay well lit in this game because I learned the hard way that if you don't, you end up going in a circle until you find out you were literally 1 block away from where you needed to be, but you didn't know because you didn't have light in that area. Take it from me. Learn from my mistakes. Have as many torches as you possibly can. It's not hard to get them. It literally is just 3 wood and you find wood everywhere. My next tip is going to be about torches as well, because once again, I will preach it till the end of days. Lighting in Corekeeper is your best friend. As I was saying, if you're holding a torch, you can have ambient lighting around you without having to lay the torch down on the ground. However, if you switch to a tool, it's no longer going to be lit for you, and it's going to be really dark and hard to see and maneuver. What I've learned is that breaking dirt walls, which is what's mostly around you at the beginning, with a torch only takes 4 swings. If you're using a pickaxe, you do only have to use 3 swings. The time is not that big of a difference. So what I've been doing is using my torch as my fist to go through dirt walls. It doesn't degrade your torches at all. It doesn't get rid of your torches. It does nothing of ill will to any of your torches, and you get that free lighting without having to waste a ton of torches going down a cavern path that you may be going in one straight beeline, or you may be clearing out as a whole. Now, if you're clearing out like a big section and you can just throw a couple torches down, keep it well lit for the entire thing, and just run through it with your pickaxe, then by all means go ahead and do that. But if you're just exploring and trying to find ore, or just trying to cut a new path into a place, I really suggest just cutting that path with your torch. You get that ambient lighting and you don't have to constantly lay down a torch every 5 feet. Now there are also glow foods in here, so if you've eaten a glow food, feel free to bring your pickaxe out and just start going to town. But if you haven't eaten a glow food, this is probably your best bet. At least that's what I found. And maybe it's gonna be like Stardew where eventually you can get a glow ring or something of that nature and it won't really matter. But for now, at the very beginning, use your torch like your pickaxe, break those dirt walls with your hands. It's not that much time difference and it saves you a lot of time in reality because you're not turning around every 2 seconds to put a torch on the ground. Okay, everybody, so my fourth tip is about when you smelt your copper. It's not the actual act of the smelting that we're gonna be talking about. It's gonna be what you should prioritize with your copper bars once you start to get them. The copper in the beginning game is kind of spread around and you kind of have to search for it. So if it was me, I would go with the copper watering can, I would go with the copper hoe, and I would go with the copper sword. In whatever order you choose is fine, but personally, I think you should get the copper sword and then the copper hoe and watering can. The reason behind this is the copper sword will help you if you run into any baddies along your way and allow you to explore into different areas and feel a lot safer. The copper gardening hoe is going to allow you to start gardening with all the seeds you're going to be finding at the beginning of the game, and gardening helps out a ton. And the watering can is so once again you can garden and water the seeds you're planting around your base camp. You may be tempted to go for the copper pickaxe or the copper shovel, and the reason I tell you not to do that is not because they're not good, it's just that you only have such a limited amount of copper at the beginning, and the wooden pickaxe and the wooden shovel are just as fine as the copper. In reality, you can easily craft the wooden tools to get you through, and it's not too big of a difference from copper. So when you're prioritizing what copper tools you should go with first, make sure to not prioritize a pickaxe or a shovel. Whichever of the others you want to prioritize first is all fair game and up to you. I also think you should prioritize a cooking pot pretty quickly in this game as well, because spoiler alert, it keys into my next and final tip. And so my last Corekeeper tip is to keep food on the ready. If you don't have food ready, you're gonna quickly become hungry. The game has a hunger bar as well. It's that little bar underneath your health bar, and you'll notice it starts going down fairly quickly. You'll also notice that when you're well fed, you have bonuses to movement, damage, and health. Another thing you're gonna notice is that when it gets really low, you're gonna have negative effects on your movement and health and etc. So you're gonna wanna stay at least averagely fed. I typically am not the best at keeping myself overly fed. I don't get into a lot of combat stuff at the beginning, so being well fed isn't necessarily the end all for me. I do, however, try to keep myself above 50. And if you play around with your cooking pot, you'll learn a lot of fun combinations that add different bonuses to your character. A really cool thing with the food is some food will give you a glow effect, some food will give you faster movement, some food will give you 5% bonus to your mining. You really got to read the description of everything you're making because it'll tell you what you're kind of entail for. For example, if you take 2 glow tulips and you combine those two, you're gonna make a tulip glow salad or something of the nature of that name, and it's only gonna give you 5 bonus to your food. So it's not gonna really fill you up. What it is gonna do for you is it's gonna allow your character to glow for a while, like I was saying, so you don't have to carry a torch around or lay a torch everywhere. You can just eat a glow tulip salad and start mining, or start fishing, or doing whatever you're doing and not have to worry about lighting as much for the next 2 minutes. Some foods do have negative effects also though, so please be really careful. For example, bomb peppers will do -11 health to you. So don't just eat a bomb pepper if you have 10 health left. That's gonna actually kill you. So yeah, that's my last tip. Keep food on the ready, experiment with your cooking pot. It's really fun to make these new combinations and kind of figure out what foods you can make and what effects they'll give you. And it genuinely is a good time to cook. Like, I had fun just experimenting with my food and getting these different combinations that would give me different buffs. Like, that was exciting to me because I go, oh, what happens if I put an orange cave guppy and a blue cave guppy together? What am I gonna make? And then I gotta get a new food out of that and go, wow, Look at the buffs and bonuses it can do for me. So really check out your cooking pot, explore your food, but always keep food on the ready because you never want to go hungry in Corekeeper. Alrighty everybody, so that's all the tips I have for you today. I hope you got some takeaway from it, and like I said, I'm no expert in the game. I'm like you, I'm a beginner, I just started. So if you liked anything or you got any takeaway from any of my tips, comment down below and let me know, or just tell me some tips that I might not know that you've learned, because I'm sure you've learned some stuff as well out there. Also, if you do enjoy this content, feel free to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, or just share it with your friends. I'm looking to make some more Corekeeper content in the next couple months as well, so I hope everybody keeps enjoying the game as much as I've been enjoying it, and y'all have a fantastic day. Peace, everybody.